Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast. And today we've got episode 2 of my weekly podcast here on the Hard Count, where I talk about my big takeaways, big thoughts from this past week of NFL football, and maybe sprinkle a little bit of college football here and there as well, because draft season is almost here. The season is almost over. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, sit back, relax. I'm going to be talking for an hour. And of course, as always, if you're only interested in maybe 1 or 2 segments, I will have the timestamps in the description. I'll be uploading separate videos for each one of these as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video with a hot topic this week. And it's that the Jets won. They won. It was the biggest upset in 25 years. They were 17-point underdogs against the Rams and came out and won 26-23. So that's been a big story because as a result of that, the Jets have lost the number 1 pick in the draft, which in all likelihood means that they lost Trevor Lawrence as well, who's kind of been locked into that number 1 spot for a while. And so a lot of questions have been raised because about what the Jets do with this pick, because when you got the number 1 pick, it's obvious you take Trevor Lawrence, run with Trevor Lawrence. But there's been a lot of questions raised. What do the Jets do? Do they take Fields, the next best quarterback, and run with it despite having Darnold? Do they take, another prospect there at the number 2 pick like Penei Sewell, or do they trade the pick? And I'm going to say it right now, this is an easy decision. Don't think too much about it, Jets fans. Don't think too much about it, Jets. You take Justin Fields in the draft, because when you have an opportunity to get a player like Justin Fields, as talented as Justin Fields, you take that opportunity, cash it in, run it to the bank, because those opportunities don't come around every day. And I know, what about Sam Darnold? He could still be good. He's never really been given a fair shot, right? If they put the right pieces around him, he could turn things around. And the truth is, Sam Darnold is in the future for the Jets. He's not. And yes, his surroundings haven't been great, but neither is Sam Darnold. And it's not a Deshaun Watson situation where we're like, oh, he is just phenomenal, but it's the things around him are not great. There's been a lot of issues with Sam Darnold. He's accuracy issues, decision-making issues, and he doesn't have anything to make up for it either. He's not super talented in one area. He doesn't have a rocket arm. He's not remarkably mobile either. And yeah, you can hire him a new coach. You can give him some more time to develop. You can get him some new wide receivers, maybe draft him some more guys on the offensive line. But at the end of the day, Sam Darnold isn't special. He's not elite. And you're going to go maybe 9-7, 10-6. But you're not going to keep up with the elite guys, because elite quarterbacks run the NFL today. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. These are the guys running the NFL today. So when you have the opportunity to take a guy that can be elite, you take that opportunity and run with it. Because Sam Darnold is an elite. You're not going to keep up with Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, with Sam Darnold. You're going to get a worse draft pick, go 9-7, 10-6, and that's that. And that's if things go well in the rebuilding process as well. And so I just wanted to look around the league, give a couple of examples of some teams that are going through similar things to what the Jets would be going through if, one, they kept Sam Darnold and tried to rebuild, take some pieces around him, and 2, what happens to the teams that are taking rookie quarterbacks today. And the example that I wanted to give for a team that's going to be that potentially could hold on to a quarterback that just isn't special, but maybe if you put the right pieces around him, give him the coach, develop him, he could maybe get you somewhere. And that's the New York Giants, because Daniel Jones is a guy that we all know he isn't the answer. He's not the answer, but they took him high in the draft. Maybe you could fix things up if you put the right pieces around him. But the truth is, the Giants are going to, for the next couple of years, if they keep Daniel Jones, they drafted Andrew Thomas last year, maybe take another wide receiver. They got him a new coach. But the truth is, the Giants aren't winning a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones. They're just not. You're not going to beat Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to beat Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to beat Russell Wilson with Daniel Jones. And that's just the reality of it. And that's the same thing that will happen to the Jets if they keep Sam Darnold. You're not going to beat Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to beat Aaron Rodgers. because Sam Darnold isn't a franchise quarterback. He's not special. He's not elite, and he's never going to be, even if you put the right pieces around him. And then if we look at the other side of things, what happens to the teams that are taking rookie quarterbacks now? You know, and the impact that the rookie quarterbacks are having right now is bigger than ever, sooner than ever. And if we just look at it the past couple of years, it is evident because we look at Joe Burrow last year with the Bengals, comes in, and I know the Bengals were not great, but 5 out of 9 games that Joe Burrow played, they scored over 30 points. That was a scary offense when Joe Burrow was on the field, and he came in and made an immediate impact. Justin Herbert with the Chargers comes in and makes an immediate impact, makes that offense scary. And Kyler Murray last year comes in, makes that offense scary. And we keep talking about Super Bowls, and I want to bring it up again. I can see Joe Burrow winning a Super Bowl with the Bengals. I can see the Chargers winning a Super Bowl with Justin Herbert as their quarterback. I can see the Cardinals winning a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray as their quarterback. But I can't see the Giants winning a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones. I can't see the Jets winning a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold because Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, those guys are special. They're elite, and the NFL is run by elite quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, they're average. And average quarterbacks get squashed in today's NFL. So when you have the opportunity to take a guy like Justin Fields, who's a great athlete, big arm, very accurate, you take that opportunity because the guys like Justin Fields come in, make an impact, and those are the guys that win you Super Bowls. Those are the guys that are franchise quarterbacks in today's NFL. And the guys that are like Sam Darnold just aren't. So my takeaway there, that was the first segment, is just the Jets. It's simple. Don't overthink it. You take Justin Fields because the opportunity to take a guy as special, as talented as Justin Fields doesn't come around every day, and it's an opportunity that you cannot pass up on. And then I wanted to move into talking about a second college quarterback. I know there's a lot of, college football seasons wrapping up. We got a lot of exciting prospects who we're going to see where they go in the draft, what destination there is. There's a lot of teams at the top of the draft that need quarterbacks. And one of those guys that's in the discussion is Mac Jones of Alabama, and potentially the Heisman this year. He's had a great year at Alabama. He's right now second in the Heisman race, and a lot of people love Mac Jones. People are in on Mac Jones, but I'm out on Mac Jones. He's not a first-round pick, in my opinion. I would not use a first-round pick on Mac Jones. Because what do I hear about Mac Jones? What do I hear about him? And he's accurate, very fundamentally sound, makes smart decisions, but average arm, very poor athlete, can't create much on his own, needs great protection to succeed. And I've seen these things with my own eyes when I watch Alabama play. And that's just true. And yeah, that's great. It's great that he's accurate. It's great that he's fundamentally sound. But the quarterback position is different today than it was 10 years ago. Today it's all about what can you create? What can you make happen when it's not there? What can you bring to an offense that nobody else can bring? And you don't believe me? The top 8 quarterbacks in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, freaky athlete, super strong arm, makes throws no one else can make. Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Russell Wilson, super mobile, does everything super, super well. Deshaun Watson, he's been phenomenal. He has elite escapability, can make throws no one else can make down the field. Lamar Jackson, he misses a couple throws here and there, but brings mobility to the table that nobody else does. Josh Allen, one of the biggest arms we've ever seen in the NFL, super mobile. And then Justin Herbert, one of the biggest arms in the NFL. Kyler Murray, one of the most mobile guys in the NFL. You notice anything? There's a pattern. Those top 8 guys that I just listed off, they've got a unique trait, a unique thing that cannot be taught, whether it be mobility, arm strength, whatever. Those things are what modern day quarterbacks are. Guys who can create, guys who are special, guys who have talents that no one else has in the NFL. Then we look at the past 4 draft classes, and the guys who've been busts, Mitch Trubisky, and those guys are the guys who are safe, the guys who don't have the same talent. But the guys who've been the best, and we talked about it in my last video, Patrick Mahomes in 2017, the best athlete in the class, a little more risky, but the best athlete in the class. 2018, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, the guy with the really big arm, the guy that can outrun everyone on the field. These are the best two guys, the guys who are uniquely special in an area. No one else can do what they do. Kyler Murray in 2019, the guy who's freakishly athletic, super mobile, all of these things, the guy that's the best in the class. Justin Herbert, the guy who's got a huge arm, a rocket arm, a lot of talent. He's a good athlete. This is the guy that's the best in the class. Again, notice anything? The guy who can create the most, the guy who's physically special, the guy who is, who can create outside of the system, not relying on what's around him to succeed, have been the guys that have been the most successful coming out of the draft and the guys that are running the league right now. Because development right now in the NFL is as good as ever. Guys are developing the accuracy. Guys are developing the decision making. Guys are developing the fundamentals. We've seen it with Josh Allen. They were showing it. He's made so many huge improvements. And these guys are improving. Lamar Jackson's improved. Josh Allen's improved. Justin Herbert has improved. They've developed this decision making, the accuracy. And yeah, they might not be Drew Brees level, but I'm trading away a tiny bit of accuracy for a guy who can make a throw that no one else can make, a guy that can outrun everyone on the field. And when these guys develop the accuracy, the decision-making, the fundamentals, what does Mac Jones become? Mac Jones becomes a guy who's just not special at anything. And that's about that. That's pretty much it. He's not going to develop a cannon. Mac Jones isn't going to develop a cannon. He's not going to develop the ability to outrun everyone on the field. But, a guy like Lamar Jackson, he developed the accuracy. Or a guy like Josh Allen develops the accuracy. Justin Herbert develops the processing, the accuracy. Mac Jones isn't developing those things that he doesn't already have. And I'm not saying that there's not a market for Mac Jones out there, because there is. Mac Jones he's safe. You put him in a system like the Rams, maybe the 49ers, and he could have some success. But when I'm taking a guy in the first round, I'm taking a guy that's a franchise quarterback, a guy that I know is going to win me games and going to be my guy for a long period of time. Not a guy that's replaceable, because Mac Jones is on the market. Mac Jones is out there. But a guy like Justin Herbert just isn't. You don't find them every day. But Mac Jones is special, and he is not special, and that's really going to hurt him in the NFL. And as I said, in a first-round quarterback, I'm looking for an elite franchise guy, not a serviceable quarterback like Mac Jones. So those are my thoughts on Mac Jones. I think that we'll see where he ends up going in the draft, but I know a lot of people are higher on him than me. I just don't see him right now as a first-round player because he's not special. He doesn't do anything uniquely great. And next, I want to talk about the star of the week, in my opinion, and that's Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. He had another solid performance for the Eagles despite the loss. And last week, I told you guys that he was the future of the Eagles, not Carson Wentz. And this game only reaffirmed my opinion on him. He's a guy that I'm very excited for the future. He's a guy that I am very high on, and I'm excited to watch for a while. But I was very impressed this past week by Jalen Hurts. He made play after play after play. And he was trying to keep up with the Cardinals offense, which couldn't be stopped against this Eagles defense that was really struggling. And he did that. He made a lot of great plays. He kept them in the game. He put them in a position to win. He made a bunch of great throws. He made a throw to Dallas Goedert in the end zone that would have tied them up at 33. It would have likely gone to overtime. It was dropped, though. So Jalen Hurts has put the Eagles in a position to win time and time again using his legs, making great throws throughout the entire game. I was very, very impressed by him. He played a fantastic game and really confirmed my opinion last week that he is the future of the Eagles. And this week, I feel even more strongly about that. And so last week, the question was, can Jalen Hurts be the future of the Eagles? Now it's almost, can he be the future of the NFL? Can he be an elite quarterback in the NFL? And, first, what makes an elite quarterback? What makes you great in the NFL today? And that's, you need a combination of three things. And I think the first two kind of go hand in hand. That's being uniquely great at something, being very talented, and being a great leader. So I guess kind of two things. Talent and leadership make a great quarterback. I think people kind of underrate leadership. I mean, we've seen it constantly through time in the NFL. Carson Wentz gets taken out, clearly more talented than a guy like Nick Foles. Nick Foles comes in, rallies the Eagles, brings them to a Super Bowl. And then Baker Mayfield just last year, childish, saying stupid remarks in his interviews. A couple years ago, police videos, as Colin Cowherd would like to say, and no one really rallied around him. The team couldn't get things together, and that's just how it is. And when your team doesn't trust you, when your team doesn't respect you as a leader, which the quarterback is automatically, as they're the most important position, they're the leader of the team. When your team doesn't respect you, it is very, very detrimental to your team. And so leadership is an underrated part of being a quarterback. And obviously some guys just pass up on talent. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest leader, but he's just so talented it overcomes that. But when you can put together both, it really, really makes you special. And in my opinion, Jalen Hurts has both things. I mean, we look at him. He comes in the league. He's confident, good leader. He's calm under pressure. He makes good decisions. His guys respect him. He makes the guys around him play hard. And this is in his second game in the NFL. His teammates respect him. His teammates like him. And he demands the respect of his team, gets them to play well, calm under pressure. He is the definition of a leader for the Eagles, and he did it in only 2 games as a starter. I have been very, very impressed by that. And then we talk about talent, and Jalen Hurts has all of it in the world. I get he doesn't have the greatest arm ever, but that's okay. He makes up for it. He's very, very mobile. He extends plays. He's very escapable. We saw him step up multiple times, roll out of the pocket, make a great throw on the run, which a lot of guys couldn't make. He's very mobile. He extends plays with his legs. He's not too quick to run. He makes a lot of great decisions that way. And yes, there's a couple throws he whiffed on, a couple throws that he missed. But we talked about it earlier. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, these guys are fixing those things. They're hitting those throws that they maybe weren't hitting before. And so Jalen Hurts, in his second start, showed great leadership. He flashed his talent. He made a fantastic play after fantastic play, kept up with his Cardinals offense with a much inferior, beat-up offense that's been struggling all year. I've been very, very impressed. I've loved what I've seen from Jalen Hurts. And as I talked about, the question is Jalen Hurts an elite quarterback? And what did I say? You need talent, you need leadership to be an elite quarterback in the NFL. And Jalen Hurts has both of them. He's got the leadership, he's got the talent, and he is built like an elite quarterback in today's NFL. He's a player that I'm excited to watch for years to come, and I think you should be too. So those are my third segment. We are about 20 minutes into the podcast. I'm going to be doing it a little bit shorter this week because it's Christmas. I know you guys might not have as much time. I don't have as much time too, but I thought I'd sit down here. I still want to get you guys content while I can. And I never want to miss a video. And so I just wanted to wrap it up with my best for last. I know it was a shorter podcast today, so I'm sorry if you're disappointed. But I hope you enjoyed so far. But let's get right into my best for last. And I'm going to be ranking the 2020 draft prospects for this year at quarterback. And we've got 6 guys that we're going to be ranking because I think those are the 6 guys that are really in the discussion. And those 6 guys are going to be Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask, Trevor Lawrence, and Mac Jones in no particular order, as I said just there. And so, yeah, I'm going to be talking about where I ranked them, why I ranked them there. And so let's get right into it with my number 6 guy, and that is Mac Jones out of Alabama. I think you guys probably saw this coming after I talked about him a little bit earlier. And, I think as I talked about earlier, there's a market for Mac Jones out there. There's a market for him. Jimmy Garoppolo, what Jimmy Garoppolo did in San Francisco. So basically in San Francisco, teams like that, with the Rams, teams that don't require a lot out of the system, that you just need to hit the throws that are schemed up. You don't need to move too much. You don't need to create too much. And so there is a market for Mac Jones out there. And I will give him some credit for that because it's true. But when I'm stacking all these guys up and I'm looking at, if I'm spending a first round pick on this guy, Mac Jones is the last guy that I'm spending a first round pick on because he isn't built like a star quarterback. He isn't built like a franchise quarterback in today's NFL. Number 5, it's Kyle Trask. And I think this is another relatively obvious selection. And I think he's a little bit reminiscent of Mac Jones and what I was saying about Mac Jones in terms of not being able to create too much. He's not a great athlete. I think he does have some really nice touch on deep balls. And I think he's a more willing runner. He's a better, I think he is a little bit better of an athlete than Mac Jones is. And I think that's why I have him above. He's more willing to run. He's more willing to extend a play. And I really like to see that out of Kyle Trask. And again, I do think he can have a lot of success in a lot of places. I think he could potentially be a first-round pick. I think there's a lot of teams that would love to have a guy like Kyle Trask, who obviously had a great year in Florida, kind of rose his draft stock quite a bit. And I think he definitely deserves a spot somewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him go in the first round, but he doesn't create too much from what I've seen. And I think that's why the other guys are ranked definitely above him. And then number 4, this was a very close call. I think this is where we start getting some tough decisions. And I think this is where we might start disagreeing. And I'm going to go Zach Wilson. And I know that might be a surprise for you guys, but trust me, these 2 to 4 were very, very difficult. And Zach Wilson, I think he's great. I think he should be a top 10 pick. I think he should be a top 10 pick. I think he's worthy of it. I think he should be a top 4 pick. I think quarterbacks should go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the draft, unless you really don't need one. And if you don't, trade it to a team that does. But Zach Wilson, he's great. He's great. Makes so many great throws. He's had a great season at BYU. I do think people are getting a little bit too high on him because of recency bias right now. But he's a good athlete. Nothing special athletically, but he's got a pretty good arm, pretty good athlete. Makes a lot of great reads, great throws. I don't have too much to say about him other than the fact that, he is a very talented player, and a team would love to have a guy like Zach Wilson because, I think he is a little more pro ready than a guy who I'm about to talk about, which I talked about in my other video. I'm not too concerned about it because the guys who are often more pro ready don't really turn out anyway. But I'm not off Zach Wilson because I think he's got a lot of talent, a lot of ability as well to add on to the pro readiness. But I think there still are some concerns with he throws into traffic way too much sometimes that probably would be picks in the NFL, which you can't really do. I do think he can clean that up, but I think he just isn't quite as good of an athlete as my number 3 guy, which is Trey Lance, North Dakota State University. Did not play. He played 1 game this year, and it was not a very great game. And I am a little bit concerned about that, and that's okay. But Trey Lance, in my opinion, is just a guy that you cannot pass up on. I mean, the ability that we see in Trey Lance when he plays is just phenomenal. He's a great, great, great athlete. Huge arm, really puts a lot on deep balls, can extend plays, move out of the pocket. He's willing to run. He's a big, strong runner down the field, and he's faster than a lot of, he's very fast. He's kind of like a mix between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson as a runner. I don't think he's quite as fast as Lamar Jackson, but he's pretty physical. And, big arm, fast. I think there are some processing issues. We'll have to see. But as I think I've talked about this, you target ability in the draft. Processing, a little bit of accuracy here and there. Those things can be fixed. And we've seen great processing, great reads, great accuracy here and there from Trey Lance. So I have confidence he can do it. So Trey Lance, in my opinion, is a guy you cannot pass up on if you get the opportunity. I think he is phenomenal. But yeah, the reason I have him over Zach Wilson is because I think he is just a better athlete. And I think there are a couple, I do think there's a couple more. What are we going to get from him? And I think there's a couple, he's a little bit less pro ready, but I'm taking the more ability over the more pro ready guy, which is kind of what I've talked about through this whole process. Now, number 2, Justin Fields. And I'm not going to jump off the boat too quickly. I know a lot of people are doing that right now. A lot of people are going to a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson as their number 2 guy. But Justin Fields, he's been it for a while. There's a reason he's been it for a while. Big arm, very accurate, great athlete. I feel like I've said that for all of these guys, but that's just how it is. This quarterback class is very, very special. There's a lot of guys that can be game-changing players. Justin Fields is certainly one of them. And the knocks on him right now are knocks that I'm not too worried about. I mean, there's a couple of processing issues. He might stick on his first read a little bit too much and a couple things like that. But that's pretty much all these guys except really for our number 1 guy. But that's why he's our number 1 guy. But Justin Fields, those were the same criticisms for Justin Herbert last year. Look what's happened. Fields has been great in college football. He's made so many fantastic throws, makes great throws on the run, great throws downfield. He's got a great touch on his deep ball. So Fields is just phenomenal. He should be the number 2 pick in the draft to the New York Jets, as we talked about earlier. So I'm not bailing on Fields just yet. We'll see how he plays against Clemson. That'll be definitely something fun to watch. But I think Justin Fields is phenomenal. I'm excited to see what he does in the NFL. But he's my second best prospect. And then number 1, the most obvious answer on here, Trevor Lawrence, no doubt. And if you disagree with this, I don't know what to say. He's one of the best prospects we've ever seen come out of the draft. Just huge arm, one of the biggest arms we've seen in a while. Makes little to no mistakes, has great touch on his deep ball, super accurate, moves between reads cleanly. And in 2019, there was maybe a couple of processing things, a little maybe ball placement here and there that you could pick at, but it really hasn't been an issue this year. He's going to ball out in the college football playoff. Trevor Lawrence is a special, special player. He's already going to be in my top 10 quarterbacks list when he comes in next year. And you might hate me for that, but just look at the rookie quarterbacks recently. Right away, they make a huge impact, and they're already top 10 guys in the league. Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, all those guys are going to be top 10 next year, and I've seen no reason why Trevor Lawrence will not be. He's one of the best prospects we've ever seen. So yeah, I'm excited to watch Trevor Lawrence. He is my number 1 prospect, and I think he is most people's number 1 prospect. So number 6, Mac Jones. Number 5, Kyle Trask. Number 4, Trey Lance. Number 3, not number 4, Trey Lance. Number 4, Zach Wilson. Number 3, Trey Lance. Number 2, Justin Fields. And number 1, Trevor Lawrence. Those are my quarterback ranking going into the draft. We will see what these guys do in the college football playoff in their bowl games. I know a couple of them have already had them, and a couple of them aren't going to be playing in their bowl games, but still going to be fun to watch, especially Fields, what he can do against this Clemson defense if he can step up. But yeah, a lot of fun things to watch with these guys. Those are my rankings. But yeah, that's the podcast. I'm sorry it wasn't as long as you may have been hoping. I know it's only around 20 minutes. I mean, not 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but I hope it's good enough. I hope you enjoyed the segments that I did do. And yeah, have a Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I appreciate you guys. Have a happy holidays. And until next time, peace.